6 months of ownership with a BMW 118i. Modifications I've done, what I do like, what I don't like. So first of all, you can probably see at the front end I've changed the grille for a rather, what I think is a much better grille, and there's a Maxton Design front splitter on it. As we move round to the sides, we've got standard wheels on, and also, as Matt from Carwell calls these mirrors, these look very sexy, I think. Matt calls them fistable mirrors for that reason, and I don't quite think that's the right terminology, but Matt gets away with it, so there we go. So of course it's in the iconic Alpine white. You've got your side rails on there, nice and discreet, not too big and in your face. And we move around the back, and as you can see, I've got a fin extension just here, also Maxton Design one, and there's also a gloss black shark antenna which looks nice against the white. If I hold the camera up, you can see there's a panoramic roof as well, which when we bought this was hard to come by. Right, you've got your darkened rear glass, your privacy glass, and also it's maximum legal darkened at the back, and apart from that the back's pretty much standard. Move around to the other side, that's obviously a mirror image of that side. So take a look in the back, there's nothing being done in here. There's my little Patterdale Terrier's basket there, and a little rucksack. There's a boot liner in here which is absolutely brilliant, it's cheap as chips, I think for £6.99. But what we have done, which is a good idea unless you've got passengers, is taken that middle head restraint out, so it gives you a much better view out of the rear window. There's 4 doors in here. The room in the back of here, and we've both tried it out with the other one driving, the room in the back is absolutely quite phenomenal for such a, what's classed as a hatchback, albeit hatchbacks are a lot bigger nowadays than what they used to be. But the rear legroom is marvellous, very, very comfortable. Now we get into the front of it. There's got some seat covers on there so I don't damage the nice Dakota leather. And then you've got, I actually like what people complain about, the chunky steering wheel, but it's all a personal thing. Let's put it in eco, the colours are better, really easy to use, and you can see you can flick backwards and forwards. I'm doing it with the navigational wheel down near the handbrake, or you can do it obviously with the touch screen. But all in all, I do like the contrast of some pressy knobs, shall we say, as well as a touch screen, because I don't like everything touchscreen. It's a bit too much for me. I prefer a little something physical to press. And you've also got a good old-fashioned on-off and volume knob for the music system, which in this particular model is the Sonos. It's not the upgraded one. You can do the volume on here and most things on here as well as down there. The glove box I'm a little bit disappointed with. It's how can we say, it's not tiny, but it's not brilliant, it isn't. And another thing I've found with this vehicle, filling it up, you have to do it really quite slowly, otherwise I don't know whether the actual nozzle down to the tank at the pipe is too small, but you fill in, it keeps clicking off all the time if you try and do it at full speed, so that is a bit of an annoying feature. Another thing I think it needs a bigger fuel tank on, because this has been filled up today, and what we got in there, we've only done a few miles since we filled up, probably 12, and what's that, 300 I can't see, I've not got my glasses, but that's what's left in the tank. 330, I've got it now. That's what's left full range in the tank, which to me, if you go on a long journey, it's pretty poor, to be honest. But I'm getting very nitpicky. Another thing I've found as well, I'm not exactly the tallest guy in the world. I'm not the shortest. I'm 5'9½", which is sort of puts me in the middle, and I can't quite get the seat just right for me, for the clutch. Yes, this is a manual, and I do like a manual. I don't know why they don't do a manual in the 128 and the 135, but there we go. And I also don't know why they don't do a manual in a lot of cars, and also a 3-door version, because your young boy racers, shall we say, don't want 5 doors, they want the 3 doors. Down here obviously is your navigation wheel with all your bits and bobs on it. I don't know whether you can see it on this film. It's really easy to use, and apparently from what experts say, it's a market leader. Right, one thing I would like to note, which is a bit naughty of BMW, as you can see there, there's the traffic app missing. If we go across here, your weather app and your news app is also missing. These were on the vehicle when we bought it, but I've since found out after writing to BMW that after 3 years and 30 days of your nice new BMW, you start to lose apps, and you have to subscribe for them, which personally I think stinks. After they've had all that money out of you and the premium rates they charge for service, etc. Also, another thing that you lose is this little thing down here, which I don't know if you can see it with the sun, is your Ask BMW app also goes. But I can't believe anybody would subscribe to this. Just plug your phone in and use Android Auto. While we're up the front, I'd also like to say, round here tucked away is your, obviously your lights are automatic, and you've got bits and bobs of, you can override that with side lights, headlights, this, that and the other, but your fog lights around here, your front and rear fog lights on this model, and you just, I've got the camera the other side of the steering wheel, you just can't see them or operate them while you're driving, not safely anyway. You really have to search for your front and rear fog light, which is to me a very poor design of BMW. Moving on to the very iconic, what they call the Hofmeister curve or Hofmeister bend, which is there, and apparently, I don't know, it used to be on all BMW models. I don't know if they've kept it, they probably have, but if I put an M badge on there, I know it doesn't have one when it comes out of the factory, but why put an M badge everywhere else on the vehicle and that one on the back? If you come round to the side, there's one here, there's an M badge there, there's an M badge on the gear stick, there's an M badge on the steering wheel, and I had a spare M badge, so I don't know whether you saw it on the first shot, so I stuck it there, and that looks quite sexy, I think. Very aggressive looking front end, and in the white I think this particular model looks brilliant in the Alpine white. LED headlights, and I don't know what's going to happen if one goes, if it's going to be a simple procedure like changing a old style bulb, but obviously LED, or knowing modern things nowadays, you'll have to have a complete new headlight at probably about 1200 quid fitted, which stinks a bit. It does, to be honest. We've got the Goodyear Eagle tyres. They came out of the factory with those on, which are an exceptional A-rated tyre. If you want your best mileage, put A-rated fuel efficient tyres on. The difference, yep, clearly a bit dearer, 20-30 quid a tyre can be, but in the long run your mileage and also your handling is much better. All in all, would I recommend the BMW 118i after 6 months of ownership? I sure would. My brother actually has the 135i and that is a bit of an animal, but I don't like the fuel consumption on that. But having good fuel consumption, guys, this, we don't drive it hard, it's just a normal daily driven about, but we get 40-41 sort of round and about, short journeys, etc. And up the M1, when we went to Leeds a few weeks ago, it returned a nice, well, actually 50.9, so more or less 51, so you can't grumble at that really for such quite a big hatchback in my opinion.